Hello, my name is Adam Wayne Elbaum. I'm one of the directors for Pocket Pets, and I'm here to tell you about a very unique opportunity we're looking to recruit some people for. So the name of the company is Pocket Pets, and we are the largest broker in the US of an animal, a live animal called a sugar bear. It's actually a marsupial, same family as a kangaroo or a koala bear. They come from Australia and make great little pets. If you want to find out more about the animals themselves, you can go to our website, sugarbears.com, and this is the website right here. And you can scroll down, and you can see this part where it says Got Questions, and you click on Got Questions, and that will tell you everything you ever wanted to know or didn't want to know about sugar bears in general. It'll have questions and answers, so you can find all that out on your own during your regular time. So, but what I really would rather focus on for right now is the opportunity itself, which is very special and unique. And I want to go over some stuff, and that way, if you'd like to talk about it more, we can schedule a conference call or a private call, excuse me. So let me bring up my presentation. And so this is the Pocket Pets booth. As you can see, there's one of the animals in the female employee on the right in her hands. And you can see our company and our backdrop and our thing. And this is called, this is our general setup. And in this case, we're set up at a mall. But what we basically do is we go to events, mostly commercial consumer affairs, things like home shows, flower shows, tattoo conventions, gun conventions, Comic-Cons, anywhere where there's people, as well as festivals and fairs, state fairs, county fairs, strawberry festivals, pumpkin festivals, again, anywhere where there's people, and educate these people about these animals. And if someone is interested, we can also adopt one out, and we sell them for $689 for an animal with the cage, food, and supplies. I want to give you a little bit background so you understand. So let's start with how it all began. So Pocket Pets has been around for a little over 10 years. It was founded by Virgil Klunder, who saw someone selling sugar gliders at one of these consumer shows. And the way he tells the story, he always likes to say, if you ever see someone doing something all wrong and still making money, there's a huge opportunity. Virgil was always a big animal lover, and he was watching this guy, and the guy who was selling at that show was a terrible business person. And so Virgil bought some animals and watched and realized there was a huge opportunity. Before you know it, as Virgil tends to do, he contacted all the ethical and legitimate breeders and signed them up for an exclusivity agreement, creating a practical monopoly, and designed a program to make sure that these animals are sold ethically responsibly. This is the only animal we sell. We have customer service 365 days a year. We educate customers intensely so they're well prepared, as opposed to buying these animals in some random pet shop where the employees don't know anything about it. All our employees and all our customer service and support staff is well versed in these animals. So for about 7-8 years, myself and one of my business partners, Matt Granados, we were going around to these consumer shows with teams. Each of us built 3 teams ourselves and sent them out, and we'd each send them out to different events and even go with them to sell at these shows. It was very successful. We were making millions of dollars. And we always had a website, but we didn't really focus that much on those sales. And that brings us to where we are now, which is the dealer program. So the dealer program, and for some background so you understand a little bit about the dealer program, you need to know the difference between the front end and the back end. So the front end is exactly what I was describing to you, is the sale of the animal, the cage, and basic supplies that we do direct to consumers at these events. We don't aggressively sell. It's not like a traditional sales model where you have to stop people or convince them to buy. Quite the opposite. We don't want to convince anyone to buy. What we want to do is get in front of as many people as possible and educate them about the animals. And the right people who this would appeal to will come forward and decide to buy. As I said before, $689 for one animal, $989 for 2 animals. And the profit, the gross profit on one of those sales is somewhere between $450 and $650, give or take. So we were doing this for a long time, and even though we had the website, we weren't really focused on it. And a few years ago, we realized we were really dropping the ball. The website is what we call the back end. And the back end is the website that sells food and supplies and services those customers who had purchased an animal from us. And we realized there's huge, huge opportunity there since the animal does live 12 to 15 years. We get, besides having decent margins, we get a annuity because customers have to buy food and additional stuff, etc. And so we created this, what we call the distributor program, because we always had our customers asking if they could be our, start selling these animals because they practically sell themselves. And we always rejected that idea until we decided to focus our attention on the back end. And that's how we're here. So now we have a distributor program where we bring people in to start their own business and train them to do that business. And they do the front end sales. And then we make our money, not from you, but from servicing your customers. So you make a sale, the initial sale, the $689 to $989 sale, you make the $450 to $650, and then we follow up with those customers and try to sell them food and vitamins. The analogy I often give people is it's sort of like the game consoles, where they sell the game console for whatever it is, $500 to $1,000, and then the companies make money by selling the games. So we, in this analogy, would be selling the games, and you would be selling the game consoles. Now, what's nice about this model is that it's sort of like a franchise, but there are no royalties, no franchise fees, and no training fees. We are not making any money off you. We're making our money off the sale to your customers. So we only make money if you make money first, which is a really good model because it means we have a vested interest in your success. If you don't make money, we don't make money. So it's very much in our best interest to make sure that you are successful. So let's talk about how we can ensure that you are successful. And the way we do that is by training you. So here's how the training works. Oh, excuse me, I'm jumping ahead. Before the training, let's talk about why we love veterans. The key to success with this business is two characteristics that is really what it comes down to, and that's work ethic and coachability. People think we need good salespeople, not true. People think we need good business people, not true. We've figured everything out. We've sold over 100,000 animals to date at the prices that I told you before, and we've made millions of dollars. We know what we're doing. So we need people who will listen to what we say and are willing to work hard. This is not a volume business. We're not trying to sell 100 animals at a show. It's not that kind of thing. We're trying to find the right people because it's a close to $1,000 sale most of the time. We're just trying to find the right ones. So if you think about it, if you are not a hard worker and you take frequent breaks since nobody's monitoring you, those people who would buy if they saw you are walking by and you're missing a huge opportunity. So let's talk about the training and why coachability is so key. So the training is, we've broken it down into a series of 20 phone calls or video chats, because the backbone of our business is a sales presentation that we have perfected over the past 10 years. And if you say this presentation, it is proven time and time again by the most successful dealers that is what works. So rather than give you the whole script to memorize, and the script is about 10 to 15 minutes long total, we've broken it into 20 parts to make sure that you learn it properly. And we've broken those 20 parts into 20 lessons. So we are going to get on a call. We're going to get on a series of 20 calls. If you figure 5 days a week, taking off for the weekends, and you learn a section of the script and do a call 5 days a week, with 20 calls, it takes about 4 weeks, so 1 month. If you need longer than that, we could do that, but 30 to 60 days for sure, you can be all up and running in training. And on each phone call, in addition to giving you a section of the script, we're also going to give you lessons you need to know about this business. And we are going to teach you how to run any business. So the lessons we're learning, while they definitely apply to Pocket Pets, they also apply to any small business you're likely to encounter. And these lessons are broken up. And at the end of each call, we'll do a homework assignment and also assign you a next section of the script. At the start of your next call, we'll ask you to recite the script. Assuming you have it down, we'll continue. And hopefully we can finish within a month or close to that. Some of the homework assignments might include reading sections of the manual, or even watching videos, or getting your USDA license set up after we explained it, learning how to make a cage or how to make a wheel or how to order animals, etc. The closer to the end of the training, we will do what's called a boot camp. That boot camp is it's nothing like a military boot camp. It's much easier. You're going to go away on a weekend to work a show with one of our existing distributors, so that you're going to actually work it as if you were an employee. So the first time you work at this business will not be at your own expense. You will be on an event with an experienced distributor and learn more than you can possibly imagine. So let's talk about how you can grow the business and what this opportunity really means. So most of the time, most of our events take place on the weekends, usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so you theoretically can have off Monday through Thursday. And the bread and butter of this business, as I like to call it, you should be aiming to do between $5,000 and $10,000 in sales, which is very standard. It's very realistic. Sometimes you'll do a little less, but sometimes you'll do a little more as well. But the bread and butter is $5,000 to $10,000. And the profitability on that $5,000 to $10,000 depends on the variable expenses like your rent and your employees and your travel expenses and your hotel. But you should be profiting somewhere between 25 and 40%. And I know it's a little bit of a wide range, but the point is, on any given weekend, you should be making somewhere between a little over $1,000 to, let's say, $4,000, which is pretty good money. Especially if it's consistent. However, every once in a while, maybe once a month or once every 2 months, if you're good, you should be doing a good show. Now, just to be clear, both the bread and butter and the good show would assume that you're working with an employee, a trained employee, but with an employee and yourself, you'll have these good shows where you do between $10,000 and $30,000. And our really good distributors see those very often, almost at least once a month, if not more frequently. And the percentages are about the same, again, somewhere between 25 and 40%, depending on expenses. So you can start to see how the money starts to really add up. Now, there's also something that we like to call a great show. And this is really where the growth potential is, because what you really want to shoot for long term, even though you can make great money off the bread and butter and good shows with just you and an employee, we would speculate that and hope that you would be able to make between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. And that's what our experience has told us, although we can't make earning claims and everything is based on your performance. However, if you have an employee and it's you, what you want to do is get that employee to eventually become what we call a team leader, so that you can have more than one team at a time. So you can have 2 teams or maybe even 3 teams. And if you have 2 teams, let's say, and you're based out of Atlanta, for example, and you look for a show that weekend, and believe me, there are plenty of shows, but you see there's a show in Nashville, which is a few hours away, and there's also a great show in Atlanta, and you don't know which one is better. Well, if you have 2 teams, you can send one to each, and that way you cover both bases and make even more money. But the best part about having multiple teams is then you have somewhere between 3 and 5 employees. And if you have 3 to 5 employees, now you can try to sign up for these great shows. And the great shows are things like state fairs or large festivals with, 700,000 people plus. And they tend to be a week to 10 days long. And at those shows, we have historically done between $30,000 and $150,000 in that week. And that's not even the record breaking. 150 is not our highest, which I'll talk about in a moment. But if you do $30,000 to $150,000, you're not going to do these every week or every month, but it is realistic to do 1 to 4 of these types of shows a year. Very realistic, in fact, if you have good employees. But you wouldn't be able to do those kind of numbers with you and 1 other employee. You need at least 3 or 4 people to work it, because it's a week long. You need to be able to work hard and work long hours. And if you have more people, that's more realistic. So you can start to see how much potential there is with the earning of this business. Here's some quick success stories. Again, these tend to be outliers, but it's still, the information is true. We had a 23-year-old without even a college education who did $25,000 his first show. We had someone else who had $50,000, I think it was in student debt, but not sure, and they paid it off with the profitability from this business within 6 months. We had our record-breaking show, the best show we've ever done, and just be clear, you'll never do numbers this high. It was the only show like this in 10 years, but it was over $300,000, and that was 9 days long. And that dealer, who I don't believe even had a college education, profited over $100,000 that week. It was really incredible. And that same show, he did over $250,000 the year prior. Those are the only 2 times we've ever broken 200,000, but we did it 2 years in a row, and that dealer made some serious money. And not to mention all the credit card reward points you get when you're charging all your inventory. So those are some success stories. So let's talk about what it takes to get started real quick. And then if you're still interested, we can schedule a call. So in order to get started, you need to get some inventory. You need to get the booth set up that you saw in the picture with the employees. You need to have money for show rents. You need to have travel expenses, gas, and stuff like that, and just some cash flow, some miscellaneous business expenses to get everything going. To be conservative on the safe side, we like all our distributors to have about $10,000 in either liquid assets like cash in the bank, or credit cards would be fine. You can charge almost all the stuff we just mentioned on a credit card. Now, the nice thing is, almost all of the things mentioned that cost close to $10,000 altogether. It's actually less than that, but we say $10,000 so you're not going to feel tight and stressed using that money. But let's say you start doing this business after a year, or excuse me, after a month, and you call me up and you said, Adam, I've been doing this for a month and I hate it. I don't like being on the road. I don't like the animals, whatever it is, and you want to get out. This is not like a traditional business where you do a build out and if you shut it down, you lose everything. Quite the opposite. The biggest majority of your money is spent on inventory, which we can help you liquidate. You can either liquidate it for retail at a few more shows, or we can help you sell it to another distributor for a small discount, so they'll pick it up and get you some cash. Same thing goes for your display. Your show rents, we can either pretend, if you've done the shows already, usually don't pay the show rent more than a month out. So if it's your first month, you probably won't have any additional show rents. But if you do, you could do those shows, or we could help you find other distributors to do it. Travel expenses will be absorbed by the shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's very, very little risk, even if you wanted to drop off, because most of your stuff is liquid assets. But here's the best part, and hopefully you hung in there. This is why we love veterans. Because of what I said earlier, that we know vets have the best opportunity for success because they have such a good work ethic and are so coachable, we offer a program we call the Veteran Advantage. While most people we treat almost like a franchise with his own business and they have to put up their own money, if you are a United States military veteran, we are willing to put up some or even all of the money on your behalf. This is not a loan. This is us partnering with you for a small percentage of your business, because we know you'll be successful. So even if you don't have any money to put up in this business, we potentially will invest in you and partner with you to do it. And I'd love to tell you more about that on the phone and find out what's realistic. So that is my presentation. If you're still interested in the business and would like to find out more, I would love to talk to you, either myself or Matt. In the email you received, you should have had a link to schedule an appointment, and we would love to talk to you more. You can ask any questions or just have us tell you some more about it. Thank you very much. Please check out the website, sugarbears.com, and you can click the Got Questions to find out more about the animals, and I hope to talk to you soon.